Good morning and welcome to Morning Pulse, the pulse of Nigerian politics right here on Active Citizens. My name is Sharon Enemchuku. Joining me live in the studio, I have with me my co-host in person of Ifoma Oji and our analyst in person of Mr. Daniel Sacramento. Good morning. How are you all
Good
doing?
morning, Sharon.
How
You're
are you
giving
doing?
Lion King vibes this
Really?
morning. Yes. You
Nice to
look
have you
good.
on
You
the show.
look
You
good.
too, dear.
Yeah,
You
thank
too.
you.
Now we're going straight to the two headlines that we'll be discussing. First, the court has declined a request from the Department of State Services (DSS) to arrest activist Omoyele Sowore over what's being described as an anti-Tinubu post. The decision has sparked debate about freedom of expression, state power, and the limits of dissent in a democracy. Then over to the National Assembly, where contractors have shut down operations, protesting alleged debts amounting to about 3 trillion naira. They claim unpaid contracts have crippled their businesses and that the government has failed to honor its obligations. Now we'll unpack both stories, the legal, political, and economic angles right here on Morning Pulse. And we're starting with what is going on in the courtroom with Omoyele Sowore. Now we saw when they brought up the case in the first place, saying that they wanted to arrest Omoyele Sowore, and the matter was in court. Now we're hearing the proceedings from that very court case, and I wanted to take your perspective on it, with the court in Abuja coming out to say that it's not holding any water what the DSS is saying for them wanting to arrest Omoyele Sowore over the anti-Tinubu post. We recall that they also took X to court as well, and based off of the judgment of the judge, he says that even X themselves have not gotten the court order or calling them to court. They've only been told that they have been summoned to court, and because of that, they can't proceed with the arrest of Omoyele Sowore. So what's your take on that, Mr. Daniel?
Thank you, Sharon. The issue here is, well, I wouldn't have called it an overzealous act from the DSS. Although they wanted to use their power to, incarcerate Sowore, given the fact about his words, calling the president a criminal, which was very, very absurd and irritating words to hear. In as much as the present administration is not living up to expectations, there should be some level of respect to the office of the presidency. And I think Sowore violated that, violated it there by calling him a criminal. It is unacceptable. It's not done anywhere. So the DSS were trying to use the normal way Nigerian thing, because it was established that he was not served the paper of hearing, but just that he was invited to court, but not the paper of hearing. And it was established. That was why the judge struck it out and said he wouldn't give that warrant of arrest, that Sowore didn't show up, because he believes, after hearing from both parties, the lawyers of both parties, he found out that of a truth they were not properly served. So he had to adjourn the case. Now, I was just telling you guys, I said Sowore will not live all his life one prison to the other and stuff. That sometimes there should be a level of decorum in things. In as much as he always rise up to defend the defenseless. I salute him for that courage. It's lovely. Then, when you misfire, I think you should do everything humanly possible to mend fence, not saying I won't do that, or not trying to show that, hey, I've been prison tested. It doesn't move me anymore. You think about your family and how the trauma they are all passing through and all those things. So I would be thinking that this matter should be a stuff that would be settled out of court.
Out of court.
But yes,
Okay.
Sowore, if I were him, should tender an apology You know.
Do we see that happening
Yes,
by him tendering an apology?
I'm just saying, if I were him, he should tender an apology. It doesn't stop you from still fighting the just fight you're fighting, but you went overboard. Calling a sitting president a criminal is an offense. There is no way to
worry about it.
And because if we do that with Trump, he understands the gravity of sin that he has committed. So we shouldn't undermine the office of the president, because him too would just stood for that position as well. So if you can't lay causes or bring down that office that you have been eyeing, you have an ambition for. So it's an aberration for him to do that. So I think if I were him,
he should just make an apology.
Make an apology and settle that out of court. I think that would be the best thing for him.
And we were hoping to see what would be SOWORE'S response if he would really make an apology, a public apology for that matter. But let's also take a look at the standing of the court, not granting the DSS the joy of arresting SOWORE. Do we think that that ruling is signaling a sort of pushback against government overreach, Ifoma?
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, I think the court here is kind of following due process because you can't arrest somebody because they didn't, they failed to, what's it called, visit or appear in court for once. You understand? So it's not a ground for you to kind of request for bench warrant or the rest of them. But let me just say something shortly. I remember when this SOWORE made this post on X about the president being a criminal, and we remember the president going to Brazil to say that he has erased corruption in Nigeria. Let me bring to our notice that saying that you've erased corruption in Nigeria, is it not more like a disgrace and an insult to everybody living in Nigeria? That is number one. And then number two, I know that when you raised this topic, I mentioned that in as much as I'm against what SOWORE did by calling the president a criminal, that it does not take away the fact that he is a citizen of Nigeria and he should kind of profile, or rather kind of what should I call it, offer his opinion. This is his opinion. He has come out to say, okay, this is what I feel the government is. And I remember when the presidency kind of asked him to withdraw his statement, he said he will never withdraw his statement, that he is ready for anything. Is it court? Is it arrest? That he's ready for anything. So I remember saying then that I don't know how prepared he is. Maybe he's prepared to show that the president indeed is a criminal. At the same time, I'm not going to say that, I mean, we should, because of the fact that there's a lot of things going on in this administration, we should insult the presidency, because the presidency have already taken the momentum to kind of issue him or charge him to court because of his statements. And let's still remember that at the end of the day, where one person's right ends, another person begins. So we should be careful and structure our words on social media entirely. So that's what
I like that you made mention of that fact, you know, it's bringing us back to what even led to this particular statement, you know, that has garnered a lot of attention and possible arrest from DSS. Now, let's also take a look at the fact that when this started, they wrote to X, the platform which he made this, where he made that particular comment on, and asked that X delete his account, even block his account, demanded that SOWORE delete his statements, his comments on X, and he obviously blatantly refused to do that. Let's also take a look at social media now and its stance when it concerns making comments, making, will I call it, you know, different type of comments that people or personalities might consider as degrading comments. And let's also take a look at how that plays with, you know, government institutions. Because Mr. Dan of Sacramento, we remember that X came out to say that it is not going to, it looked into the matter and he said it was not going to delete the account of SOWORE. Now, do you think that the social media that we enjoy now is going to get to a point where the government can actually have a say with how social media run its course, you know, in a country?
Okay, yes, already they have started it. Remember about 3 months ago, the Cyber Crime Act was signed into law.
Yes.
Whereby giving government the power to censor some of the things that people send through the act do in the social media. In as much as it should be censored, but it shouldn't be an act that government will now start fighting people who are criticizing them. Now, criticism is good in life. It helps you to know if you are really standing at the right portion of life or you need to make amendments. So, but what we see here is that when you see people who are afraid, who are not doing the right thing, who believes that nobody should question their authority, that they are the Alpha and Omega. These are the people who always want to look out for culprits, who always want to look out, to enforce.
Do you think the present government is like that?
No. If I wouldn't say they are, I wouldn't say completely they are, because people are still people have been on the social media putting up things. I have not seen, but there are a lot of things that we as citizens need to censor. In as much as the government, we know that this has been an issue in the government. We know where the problem is coming. We the citizens, we know, but we are still the people who tends to vote just because of pot of porridge, and later we begin to complain about the whole thing. So the truth about it is that the Cybercrime Act it has been put up to checkmate and to censor the level of things that that comes into the social media space. Once again, SOWORE'S didn't do it right in this aspect, and I know that's why the DSS are on him, to prosecute him, so that people will learn lessons. But if I were them, there should be a table of dialogue
outside of court.
Outside of court, everything is not about going to court to prove one point. You don't need to come and prove a point just because of SOWORE'S. As far as I'm concerned, you understand. These things need to be sorted out. It needs to be called.
Yes, exactly.
The other day I told the policeman who wanted to arrest somebody, I said, must everything be all about arrests? Can't you see somebody misbehave and you call the person? I'm a staff of the Nigerian police force. I'm trying to tell you that this thing you're doing will cost you this and cost you that.
And it's to gain you more respect.
And it will gain you respect. It shouldn't be enforcement. At times you have to take out your time. There are people in the cell. You call them out one after the other. Find out the level of crime they committed as a DPO, as Oga there. There are ones you can easily say, okay, call the people who brought him. You sit down. Let's dialogue this matter.
Yeah, exactly.
This is still a primary crime.
I have to give it to some police officers.
Yeah, there are some that does that. That will say, no, call them, sit down, let's trash out this.
Amicably.
Yeah, amicably. I've seen the current Commissioner of Police in Anambra State. I've seen him do that. He said, no, this is not a court case. This is just somebody leaving your ego.
Yes.
Agree that you didn't do it right.
Simple.
And let's sort this matter rather than going to court or putting people in cell. That's not what he's here to do. You understand? So we must learn these things. When you are wrong, when you alter languages, that are wrong, own it up and make amendments.
Then I think that's where we have a lot of problem, owning up to our wrong.
Good.
Because it's not as though they don't know that what they're doing is wrong. It's just that ego. That is
Why should I? Why should
I be? And if I apologize, to make them look less of themselves, which is not right at all. But let's also take a look at the traditional media, the traditional mainstream media and social media informer. We know that one of the reasons that social media has garnered a lot of attention and it has gone global is the fact that the type of gatekeeping or gatekeepers that exist with traditional media does not exist in social media, and that freedom is really one of the things that set social media apart. Now, if we are bringing gatekeeping, because Mr. Daniel rightfully mentioned the code of conduct, the 2024 code of conduct on social media, if we are bringing that to social media, which is identical to the gatekeeping that we see in traditional media, do we think that social media would still be as famous and as potent as it is today?
No, I don't think so. I believe that Nigerians now find social media as a place of solace and a place whereby they can actually air their opinions, since they can't even write letter to the present government and their criticisms or whatever they are asking the government. It will never be kind of paid attention to or adhered to. So the social media platforms has now become that platform whereby they get to like cry out and air their opinions. So I think if it should be gatekept, I think we are heading towards should I call it authoritarian government, authoritative government, whereby people cannot critique the government and government cannot equally work on those critics, which for me is no longer a democratic nation.
Oh, you just said something, authoritative and democratic government and nation, which is such a huge difference with how things are being run in different nations, and it would really change the trajectory of our nation if we really tether towards an authoritative government. Now let's also take a look at, as we pause on that particular story and see what happens come December 2nd, 2025, how that particular matter would be handled as regards SOWORE and the DSS. Let's now take a look at the next story, where contractors have shut down operations in NAS over a 3 trillion naira debt. And my first question is, now, who should be held responsible for these unpaid debts? Because we are seeing that they are holding the Minister of Finance, saying that's Wale Edun, that he should make sure or ensure that these debts are being paid. But now the contractors are crying out that for so long they have been postponing the date where they are to be paid their due balance. And I'm asking Ifoma, who should we hold responsible for these debts?
I think it should be the government, definitely.
Obviously,
yes,
the government.
It should be the government.
But who exactly, like in the government, are we looking
The Ministry of Works. Those
Okay.
are the people you hold responsible. Now, this issue of contractors working, because I guess this incident is not the first time we are seeing this in the social media or in the headlines. It has happened before. It happened in Abuja. It's reoccurring again. And I'm asking, is it that these people kind of commit themselves because of the fact that they are working for the government and they believe that, okay, this is the present administrations that no matter what happens, they will get to pay them, and they commit themselves, leave everything. Some of them even go to the extent of borrowing just to make sure that they accomplish the project, and at the end of the day, you don't pay them. It means that maybe, number one, there was more like overcommitment from the part of the government, and maybe there was not enough oversight by the government, and maybe the procurement was kind of too should I say ambiguous or too bogus for the government to pay, which for me I feel like it is not really cool that you go ahead and you approve something, and when it's time to pay people, you're coming up with excuses. Though they haven't come out to say anything, but at the same time, I think these people worked
They say that they have been,
money.
in communications with them, but every time that they agree on a particular date, it is being postponed. So
now, it's because of the fact that they have actually kind of gone through all areas or avenues to ensure that their payment is being made, and because nothing is being done about it, they've taken to the street to protest, which I always talk about. Why is it that Nigerian government always wait for citizens to react before they do something? It's very terrible, to be honest.
It is terrible where you have a reactive government and you have to wait until people are on the streets. But let's also take a look at the present administration's financial management. So over the years, over time, we've seen countless borrowings, unpaid loans. Now they have come out to blame the previous administration, saying that they have, loans that they carried on from the previous administration. But let's take a look at the debts that they have accumulated on their own and the debts that they are yet to pay. What does this say about the financial management of this current administration?
Sharon, Nigeria is a very complex country where corruption has really finished us. Corruption has taken over in everything. Even corruption is in the food we eat.
Okay.
People will corrupt our food, you know.
Exactly.
The truth about the whole issue is that majority of these contractors and majority of this money, it might not be this present administration.
But this one is this present administration, or this 3 trillion naira.
No, it's not possible. Let me tell you, what they are doing is that government is a continuous process. You understand? 3 trillion is not how many years have they said that they are going to owe 3 trillion? How much is our budget? How much is our budget?
That was why I said.
So you understand? So it's a carryover of successions of government, the contracts that they were not paid. You understand? And
so they had to wait till that administration ended for them to
see,
now.
That is what government is all about. So if you are not able to collect your money before a dispensation,
they won't put it at the top of their priority.
It becomes luggages at owner's risk.
Exactly.
So, but it doesn't tell of integrity. You know, these are part of the things when you come into power, you need to sit down.
Exactly.
Get the depth of this, the people or the government or the state. If you're a state governor, you first of all, before you start thinking of the good things, you have to look at the depth the governor that is living is, has incurred.
And we don't do that in Nigeria.
Yeah, we don't.
Some people do. Some people
don't. Most,
no, you look at it.
Hardly.
You look at it.
Majority don't.
Then you now check the ones you can finance immediately, so that you will not have interruption when you want to progress, because debts are always bringing a lot of impediments. Issues.
Well, you know that we have debts, even this present presidency, right? From 2010, that they are still settling.
That's what I'm saying. So, another thing is that the government must look at the debt log and say, okay, let's start from 2015 and start settling. So these people will be revolting that they needed to do this, because majority of the contractors borrowed money from the bank, and every day you do not pay back, it counts.
The interest.
So that is why you are seeing 3 trillion. So
it might not actually have been that.
Yes, but because of the accumulation of the interest loan, you understand. So what the federal government needs to do is to sit down with them, look into them, know the ones that are overbloated, know the ones that are saying the right thing, knows the one that they need to do, and begin to tackle it. You see, the past administration that left created a lot of issues. In as much as this present one, instead of tackling internal issues that would disrupt your administration, you went on to be borrowing. Now you have met 3 trillion. That is internally. This one is just from one particular set of people, just contractors alone. Now you are tackling, you know that ASU is on strike. A federal government is tackling them. The resident doctors are on strike. So all these things are all about money. So you need to, first of all, before going into frivolous things, buying aircraft, doing this, you need to look internally. Settle the rift inside your house. Tackle those small bills before you start your going for frivolous things, buying yachts, buying aircraft, buying this and that.
Security vehicles.
So you have to first of all tackle this thing, because when you don't pay people, let me tell you, it's part of insecurity. When when a man's property, perhaps he has 7 children. He can't pay their school fees. He can't feed the children. His properties will be confiscated. Bet me 1 or 2 of the children will go for join into either banditry, terrorism, or anything, just to make sure
they get their money back.
Not even their money, to feed first, because it has become difficult for them. They no longer live the luxurious life they used to live, because bank has taken everything away from them.
This actually
a problem.
This actually reminded me of the 115 service chiefs that was sacked.
No,
before
115 DSS.
DSS that was sacked. They published their names online. And I'm like, these are people that know how to handle arms. And you sacked them just like that without any plan. maybe they might be actually put in a different institutions to still work for the government, but you just sacked them. Now the only thing I'm seeing is insecurity. Exactly. What I'm seeing now is insecurity brewing. We are seeing these are people that will go into they already know these terrorists, you know, terrorist organizations. So they'll go into there and improve. Exactly.
But you know, I also wanted to ask something, right? We are still talking about settling this debt, and the other day we saw a 1.15 trillion naira domestic, you know, approved loan that the government wants to get domestically in Nigeria. Now, this is for the 2025 budget deficit, right? Because of the 2025 budget.
December next month.
Exactly. Now, this happened recently where we are seeing this protest outside of NAS because of contractors that have not been settled, and the money is 3 trillion naira. I'm asking, with the trajectory of Nigeria's economy, with how we are going, how we are managing our finances, how do we think that really we can be out of debts in the nearest future, Ifoma?
I am actually not seeing us, you know, coming out of debt right now. But in the nearest future, it can only happen when we have, you know, people of integrity in this administration, in government offices. You understand? Those
but even with integrity, where would they get this money from to pay off?
To improve more revenue generations. Now that is the only reason, because we know most definitely that this present administration depend fully on oil revenue. So maybe they can digress and, you know, navigate their ways into other places they can generate revenues.
I like that you said that. Mr. Daniel Sacramento, still talking about revenue generation. Is there any sector or any way you think Nigeria can generate revenue that they are not taking a good look at?
There are so many. There are 100 millions of them. 100 millions of them. There are so many. We have the palm oil. We have so many. We have the granite pyramid. We have rice. We have so many natural resources. We have lead that they used to produce cement. You see, if the government is sincere, it's all about sincerity. Nigeria shouldn't be a country of debt. Even though we go into debt, you will see it will be for a minimal one. There is Niger Sem that produces cement that has been lying fallow for decades in the southeast. Do you know that we import matches? We don't produce matches.
Exactly.
Toothpick.
Do you know that toothpick is being imported?
I know.
So you see, these are not as if the bamboo tree that they used to produce toothpick is not in Nigeria.
We do have
Chinese came here to pick samples of our bamboo. Today they are using bamboo to make so many things. Malaysia came here to take our seedlings. Today Malaysia is the biggest palm oil producing nation in the whole world from us. So there are a lot of things that need to be put in place. Do you understand? There are things that needs to be changed. There are things, attitude must be changed. Now the federal government has the right to stop every state from collecting loans from any state government. I mean from any banks. They have the right. They place an embargo on it. Okojiwala did it there. You have to place an embargo. Then let's come to a round to find out how they will start, you know, offsetting the loans
that they already accumulated.
Then the federal government themselves should cease taking loans. Let's look internally. Let's believe in what Nigerian products could do. Look at Aba.
Exactly.
Where shoes, everything, clothes are being manufactured.
Yeah.
We are just paying lip service there. So you
see that actually something that the governor was doing of recent when he visited Aba. He was asking the federal government.
The state government is doing well. But if the federal government puts their weight there, you would find out that Chinese will begin to have problems with us.
Exactly.
Because what
Italians will start having problems with us. Because if you fix light issues in Aba, give constant light, bring out machines. There are so many companies that has folded. You resuscitate them.
Yes,
you find out that the efficiency, the IGR of the country rises. There will be no need for us to start going out to borrow.
Exactly. There was actually
the ashoke, the clothes, all the ashoke, all these things that are ready, is produced here.
Exactly.
Cotton that we used to do so many things. We have it here. Go to them that used to produce a Stanbic and all this thing. The flour mills and all this thing. So many of them has gone. Just because.
But I have a theory, right? Is it that because we have the materials, there's a difference between having the materials, right, and knowing what to do with it? Because
that thing you see, people had gone for training of all these things.
Exactly.
They have it. They brought it back home here. All they needed is the government support.
Okay. And not just that, the problem we have in Nigeria is nepotism. Now, I wanted to say something about this Abba and the governor of Abba. There was something he did that actually melted my heart. He went to Abba and the market in Abba, and he saw where they were producing shoes. And he looked at the label and he said, "Hope you wrote it boldly, made in Abba." And for me, that was so beautiful.
You know, when I somebody that they do a lot of imitation, and they do it so well, you don't know the difference. The other day we saw Kanu in Lagos with a Louis Vuitton bag in the streets of Lagos. I'm like, wow, this is this is Louis Vuitton, but in
Abba. If they are talented, yes,
make their own brands like that. So
our problem is equally Nigerians
too. When I was in Abba, a tailor made a cloth with two different materials. One side is this material, one side is the other man. It's a suit, full-fledged suit. Now, a white man from United States came to the guy's showroom and saw so many innovative things this young guy has done. As I speak to you, since 2003, that guy has been in the United States making clothes for
That's the thing. The end of the day, we are
problems
too. We don't.
The problem is because all our life we have lived it in importation, bringing in already made things. Now the homemade goods are suffering. That is why we don't look inward. That is why somebody will wake up and go and import toothpick when we had to stick here.
Yes.
Those days it was to stick that
we are our problems. We have a lot of talent.
We don't have the government
that will harness the talents. Yes.
The imports of our people.
They don't believe in us.
That's the problem. The government that will say, okay, let's move Nigeria forward. Now this has to stop. Let's finance this. Let's look for all the moribund companies in Nigeria, owned by Nigerians. Let's resuscitate them.
By Nigerians for Nigerians.
For Nigerians, let's resuscitate them. This is what Trump is doing in America. America
even first. Chinese. See China.
So these are the things we need to do. Let's resuscitate all the companies that has gone.
Mr. Danielson.
So the problem is having people who have Nigeria, a heartbeat of Nigeria, that understand what Nigerians are passing through. Look at the level of debt states are owing. That's why we're still giving kudos to the present governor of Anambra, who has not borrowed. So if a state government has not borrowed, it means that people can stop borrowing. It means that people borrow not to fix their states, but for selfish interests. We must understand that fact.
With the state's name, they can't borrow individually.
That is the thing, they use the states to borrow. That's why you see FCC has work. They keep working every day because all the state governors, all of them go to borrow.
They keep them in business.
Pata stay in prison for 2 years.
And because they have that immunity as governor, you can't touch them.
He now say, if I come out, I will stay, but I will only stay 2 years.
It is sad, Mr.
So that is the problem.
We need to change.
I'm calling on the present administration. If you say you're talking about sincerity, like I keep saying, please forget 2027 for now. Let's fix Nigeria. Because a man that his house is burning cannot be chasing rats. If they will leave all these 2027 things, come to the round table. America is trying to invade. And Trump is not mincing words about it. He still made
yes,
a recent video.
Yes.
I say he's not mincing words about it. So he's serious about it. So Nigerians should come. Baba, not changing approach in security, changing service chiefs. Beautiful.
Emergency,
but we need to change approach. And that approach is gathering the stakeholders.
Exactly.
The state actors, the people that are involved in this matter. Then tackling the names that have been released, that are the people sponsoring and the people that brought this banditry upon Nigeria. Because if they have allowed Ihejirika when he was the chief of army staff, he would by now wouldn't be singing this song. These were the same people.
Ted Cruz said he has list of those bandits.
They were the people that went to United Nations and ICC to go and lay complaint that General Ihejirika was committing genocide in the north. Today, the banditry and terrorism has outgrown their power.
But Mr. Daniel, if they start acting on that list, there will be a lot of problems.
Please let them act.
Let them act.
It is better that they take out 50 wicked Nigerians than innocent people dying daily basis.
Mr. Daniel, what I'm saying is that even the people that are taking them out, they will also have their skeletons in their cupboard.
But still take the other
exactly.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Sacramento. Thank you, Ifoma Oji, my co-host, for doing this with me today on Morning Pulse. If you're joining for the first time, this is Morning Pulse on Active Citizens, where we discuss Nigerian politics as it concerns us as active Nigerians. My name is Sharon Enemchukwu. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please endeavor to do so. Follow us across all social media platforms at Active Citizens. You can find me on my Instagram and Facebook at Sharon Enemchukwu and Jurifoma.
You can find me on Facebook at Oji Sophia and on Instagram at Missolex.
And for Mr. Daniel, who will always be in the studio. So we'll come your way again later today. Do have a good morning.